In the previous lesson, we saw how we can work with renderings in exterior, but also we talked about emissive materials and other type of materials that we can use in our render and to simulate like a TV or an emissive billboard. And this is the first type of artificial light that we used. Now, we can use emissive materials to light up our scene, but we can also use the lights from ARCHICAD. And also we then switch into an exterior render and we created a kind of architectural small scale model using also like the environment around or like part of a city. And then we saw how we can create like night scene renderings and we use the moon and the sky of ENSCAPE, and also we created a daytime. So we saw how we can create various scenarios, various situations. We work with the skybox, with the sky, with the sun, with the moon, and also artificial lights. So everything at our disposal for the exterior rendering. So in this video, we're going to continue to talk about rendering, but we're going to do it in an interior. We're going to see some extra tools. We're going to work with other assets, materials, effects, and visual settings, etc., to create our visualization, our final render. And so the first thing I'm going to do here is go into a night scene. So I'm going to hold the shift key and the right click of the mouse, and I'm going to go into the night. Now, as you can see, I cannot see anything here. So the first thing I would do is go into visual settings and adjust the first thing that that you need to consider, which is the exposure. Exposure is really important. It's how you are using your camera, essentially. So the first panel in the visual settings is to define a style, which I'm not going to do right now. We already saw that. Then in the camera, we have exposure, we have the field of view, and we have the depth of field, which are really important settings. But first of all, we can use the exposure or automatic exposure. Now, even if we use the automatic exposure here, we cannot see anything. We just can see a little bit of glow on the outside, so coming from the sky or the environment. So let's start to add some artificial lights, some lighting in our interior. And to do that, we can do it in ARCHICAD, but this is explained in the ARCHICAD video course. Now in here, I'm going to use ENSCAPE. So I'm going to go in the asset library and go into the lighting section. And this is where you find all the lighting device. So you find lamps for the ceiling, for the walls, and for the table lamps, and etc. Also, you have street lights, street lamps for exteriors, and so on. Now at the bottom, we also have these kind of studio, photographic studio lights, which are also good, and you can use them, to enhance the light in some part of your scene that is too dark. So you can use real lights, you can use like fake lights, and you can also apply lights to surfaces that you already have in the scene. Like for example, you can also apply a light to that carpet through the emissive material. But anyway, let's start with this umbrella asset here, and let's bring it into our scene in this position. So it's like behind the scene, it's like in the backstage, like a photographic studio, like a movie set, like a TV series set. We have additional lights that can help us to enhance part of the scene, concentrate on part of the scene, etc., etc. So I'm gonna move this a little bit back, so it looks like a light coming from another area of this small room. So if you want to know more, if you want to investigate more, you can check how photographic studio are made. They usually have combination of concentrated lights and more diffuse lights, like the umbrellas or soft boxes, and then they have spotlights that are pretty concentrated. So you can find those also, as you saw, in the ENSCAPE library. And also you can check the 3-point lighting technique, which we also discuss in other courses, because I think it's the base for what we need to do in any field: photographic marketing, product design, product visualization. And exterior, you can use the sunlight as a light, as the key light, which is the most important light. So you can use this technique anywhere, interior, exterior. All you need to understand is that if you have lights positioned in various they come from various directions, they're gonna be more powerful in enhancing the 3D effect. And you can use windows, you can use natural light, combination of natural and artificial, or you can use just artificial lights. And basically you have three types of lights. A key light, that is the most important one, comes from usually the front and from a side, and it generates shadows on the other side. So then we use the fill light to, you know, make those shadows a little bit more mild. And then we have the backlight, which comes from behind, and it's used to detach the subject from the background, but essentially to have a more three-dimensional look at the end. So this is what we're going to try to do here. So we put this light here, which could be our key light, or it could be a fill light. And now we're going to put more. So I'm going to put some lining around, and I'm going to use the library asset on ENSCAPE right now. And you can also look for something like TV or specific lamps names. You can see we have some TVs here, but they have like a black screen. So we can put it in there, but it's not going to be emissive. We need to put a sort of plane on the front of that TV. We can do it with ARCHICAD. We can create a plane on top of that, and then we're going to put an emissive material that simulates a TV screen, or something like that. So for the moment, I'm just going to put it there from the asset editor. And we also have like PC screens like desktop, laptop, and tablet that are already emissive, but I just want to show you an additional thing that can be helpful. So all the rest is going to be found in the lighting section in the asset library, where you find all the lights. So let's put some lighting device here and there to make this scene a little less darker. So not all the light emit lights. So if I select some models, they won't project light. So you need to actually put a light using ARCHICAD or using your software. So if I put this lamp, for example, in there, let me put it in a corner, okay, and just apply the object, you can see it's not emitting any light. So in this case, you need to put the light using your 3D software, whether it's ARCHICAD or Rhino or SketchUp. You need to actually put the line in there, a lighting device. And so you need to bring in the models to see if they're actually emitting light or if they're not. So I'm going to try with another one. And again, I want to position this on the floor. So I'm looking for floor lamps. So let me go for this one here, or one of these. So let me go with this. These are all floor lamps. And I'm going to put it in that corner right there and apply. And there you go. Now you see that it is actually emitting light. So if I, like in reality, if I start to put this lighting device here and there, eventually I will have a nice lighting. So this one, you can see, it looks like a backlight. If we consider this character sitting on the chair, you can see it's coming a little bit from the back. I need to move it more on the back, and let me delete the previous one. Okay, so you can take the corner points there to be more precise. Just gonna put it somewhere there in the corner. Okay, so you can see it looks coming. If we consider that character seated on the chair, that can work as a backlight. Okay, so we are starting to have a combination of various lights. And then we're gonna use also a little bit the light coming from the window. If we have a day scene, if we have a night scene, we don't have much light coming from that window, but also we can try to use it. Okay, now let's go back to the asset editor, and I also want to put a couple of objects, and also going to put another light actually here on the top, because when we have an interior, we usually have a light coming from the ceiling somehow. Well, in most cases, well, sometimes we don't have it, but usually we have. So I'm going to put one up there, so you can see it's illuminating from the top. And also, let me see here in ARCHICAD where it is. There you go. I can also copy and paste